What happened to my camera? Uh-oh. No. See if we can just... I guess we'll just live without it tonight. I don't have time to figure out what's going on with that. We're already live, and everybody's like, you know, hey, what's going on? They don't need to see my pretty face on the other platforms anyway. All right. So I had a large sculpture I was working on. This is all that remains. It's been disassembled. Couple of things, couple of reasons why. The rings that I made with this, right? These essentially are the old rings that I had that I started out with. The new rings that I bought in this bin over here, they don't quite match in color, and it's really subtle, and you would have to really be paying close attention to notice. So I was like, let me take this apart and redo these. And then while I'm at it, and this is something I was thinking of doing as well, is I reduced the size of the ring by 1 unit. So should be a little smaller, a little tighter, not as loose. I'm using small rings to make big rings for anyone watching. Okay. See if I can get a handful of these rings here. Excuse me. Okay, so handful of rings, right? Small rings. They're fairly large rings actually, but smaller than this. We're using these small rings to make these big rings, and then we're weaving these big rings into a jelly cube pattern. So if you haven't been following along, or if this is your first time here, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. Thank you for the roses. It means so much. And I'm working on a large Sandwyrm Ringception Metacube. Hence the title. So we've got... How many do we have? I have 10, 28, 38... I had almost 40 rings done. I have to make 95, right? And that clearly did not work. So hopefully take it apart, do it the right way, and make sure it looks good. And that's all part of making large, expensive projects, right? If you have some you can't change, like the color of 2 sets of rings or 2 batches of rings being slightly off. I mean, the only fix is to make it a little better. So I need about a day, I think, to go ahead and get all of these rings down to their core, right? This on the left here is Sandwyrm, my left. This is full Persian. So you make the full Persian core, and then you wrap some box around it, and it makes this cool weave. How you doing, Astrid? And so you take the box off, and you're left with the full Persian core, and then we're going to wrap it in the new, shinier rings, and redo it that way. So it is a ton of work that we're resetting, but like I said, if you're making a large, expensive project and you want it done right, sometimes you have to tear it all down just to get it done. Yes, I'm doing that for everything I've already made. I've got it all tore down. I've got about 10 rings here in this pile done or stripped down, and I've got this many to undo and then start putting it back all together. You would do the same thing? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't control that the rings are slightly different color, and it's barely perceptible, but because I've been doing this for so long, I definitely notice it, and it would bother me if I had to look at it every day knowing it was there. And no matter what I did, right? Because the ages of the rings are so far apart, right? These old rings that I have, that I started out with, are probably 15 years old at least, if not 20. I think I got them a long time ago. And so I don't know if the supplier used the same alloy as the new spring steel rings I bought. In fact, I'm fairly certain that the new spring steel rings are a different alloy entirely. I could be wrong, but who knows. So, it sucks, but it only sets us back a couple of days, and it's not, like, I have other stuff to do, but I can sacrifice a couple days to get this done right. I think that'll be okay. I spent the bulk of today at the mechanic. My brakes were gone, so had to get new brakes today. All right. Because this is spring steel I'm putting on the outside, this fourth ring that I'm adding on the outside in the box unit, or the box weave section, is quite the pain to get on. So, my brother-in-law runs the mechanic shop about 45 minutes south of here, and I always take my truck to him to get fixed. So I was braking, and the back end of the truck would start twerking as it tried to stop. So I was like, oh, I guess I need to go get my brakes checked. But it would. The truck would twerk to a stop before. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. It would twerk to a stop at every stoplight or stop sign or whatever. And I'm oblivious, you know. Because, knock on wood, most of the problems with my truck are like slow escalations. So, like, something will happen and I'll just brush it off. I won't really pay attention to it or think anything's wrong. That's no bueno. Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. I got to keep this truck running because in order to replace it, it would cost me way too much right now. Your sister and fiance are both mechanics, but they live 6+ hours away. Yeah. No, I am fortunate that I've got my brother-in-law to take good care of my vehicles. My nephew is actually the one who changed out the brakes, so he's been working with his dad as he goes through college, and he's about to graduate next month. But I got that fixed, and there's only so much you can get done when you're at the mechanics, right? It's kind of an awkward sitting position, awkward weaving position. But I did manage to get a little bit done while I was there. One individual was asking me about what I was doing and showed him a couple pictures, and that was fun. Then I came home, got the kid, cooked some dinner. We were still dealing with our terror of a corgi puppy does not want to potty train. So we've been dealing with that. That was a fun event tonight. But so I didn't have a lot of time today to get any work done. I need a day to finish the saddlebag. I need a day or two probably to get this cube back to where it was. So I'm hoping to get back on track by the end of the week. But I have been saying that I would have the saddlebags done by the end of the week, every week for the last 3 weeks. You had brakes go out on you while on the highway. Thankfully everything worked out. Whoo, man. That's no bueno. For sure. And I cannot complain. 99% of everything I've had to do to my truck was a worn part over time. I did have, see here, shortly after we moved up here, I had my son in the back of the truck and the wiring harness failed. And I was at a stoplight, and the light turns green. I press on the gas and my truck lurches forward. Ow! My truck lurched forward, causing me to go out of control. And I could not slow down. Right? For like, I don't know. It felt like a minute, but it was probably like 5 seconds. And I get around the corner and my truck's speeding down the road, and then, you know, I stomp on the brakes and get it to stop and take it to the dealership, and it is a wiring harness issue. In your old 92 Oldsmobile, I've had 92. I've had vehicles from 1992. I had a 92 Geo Metro. It was a 4-cylinder, but only 3 of the cylinders worked. Yeah, it was scary. It really was. Like, I had my little baby in the back of the truck. But that was the only issue I've had with that truck. Since then, everything else is, knock on wood, been a part that, you know, brakes, lights, starters, stuff like that. But my 92 Geo Metro with the 4 cylinders where only 3 of them fired, for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to put one of those old CD players in it with the removable face. I had a subwoofer in it and 2 12-inch subs in the back, 2 6x9s in the front, and 2 1-inch tweeters, and I had put a custom stereo that cost more than the car inside of this car for some reason. I don't know, because I was a kid that lived in a rural area with nothing else to do. And I thought that was cool. It was not. I would learn later on. But haven't had a better stereo system since then in any vehicle I've driven. Even my truck now. But vehicles now, I don't even think they come with CD players. My truck at least has a CD player in it. Yeah, I tell you what, this spring steel, I can feel it. I've only been doing this for how many minutes now? What time is it? I've been doing this for 15 minutes trying to just do one ring. Whew, that's killing my hand. Alright, we'll be alright though. We've got a lot of work to do. Can't let pain take us out. Actually, don't. Don't work through your pain. Let pain take you out. Take rest days and breaks, and don't get injured making chainmail. So, So my cousin was the please don't work through pain. That makes it worse. Oh, yeah, no, 100%. I'm not feeling pain so much as it's just like it's giving my hand a workout right now. I've got my wrist braces upstairs, readily available for any necessary recuperation. But no, working on this cube, just building the initial piece that I made, I had to take a whole weekend off from that. So I was like wearing my wrist braces and did nothing else. Wrist braces. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Alright. I did try to make one of those ASMR videos where I put my hand in the rings, but I couldn't get the angles right. I need to enlist the help of my kid to be my cameraman. We'll see how it goes. My little phone stand didn't work, and I don't want to move the. I could probably move the ring light and get a good edit or get a good shot. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'll get him. He worked on a video with me. I don't remember what one it was. Now, I'd have to go back and take a look. And he was my cameraman. All he did was push the start button. But he had fun helping. And he liked getting updated on how many likes our video had. It didn't have very many, but... You're working on saving for a canvas phone stand for all the angles? There you go. Yeah, I need to work on saving for stuff too. I need my tax return is what I need. Yeah, the spring still is killer. Just, you know, not to include all the things I mention regularly. You got your taxes down to 200. There you go. Like the things I mention regularly, like an anodizer, the finishing the rivets setup, getting a coiling cutting machine going, right? Like outside of all of those, I still have other stuff that I want to do. Problem is, I'm poor, so maybe someone will buy this sculpture from me when it's done. This is going to be the first one that I put up for sale. Hence why I'm tearing it apart and putting it back together, because I want to be sure that it is up to snuff. The only thing I would change if I were to do this again, it's like, for starters, I wouldn't use spring steel. They just happened to match the ring size I had. 10.6 millimeters in inner diameter. It's like, I would use saw cut rings and weld everything. And that would be, you know, even more time consuming than this already is. But that is... You know, when you make pieces for sale, you know, the expectation is that it's going to be very hard to destroy. And while just these butted rings are going to be hard to destroy, it's not going to be impossible. You know what I mean? All right. But as a first, how you doing, Louie? As a first time, you know, making a sculpture for sale, I think that this is gonna work out really well. We'll see. And I do, so I have that weird sculptural thing I made a while back. It's got like ridges. It's a standalone piece of chainmail. And, no, it's right here. Hang on. So I have this thing. This weird thing I made. And I need to polish it up, but, you know, it's something. It would make a good base for a sculpture to be put into it, right? Problem is, it's aluminum, and I don't want to use aluminum if I can avoid it. Right? So, my plan is to make a sculpture for myself and put it in that and keep it at the house. Or like a giant crystal stone. Actually, the contrast between a large crystal stone and that base would look pretty good. Yeah, I think when I finished it, someone mentioned putting a crystal ball into it. Like, I don't really have a use for crystal balls or anything, but some cool giant stone, that'd look cool. So maybe I'll just do that. I don't want to use it as the base for any of the sculptures I want to try and make, right? What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get the... Okay. How to explain this? I want to use stainless steel. I want to use the same weave that you use to make jelly cubes, but I want to take a thin section, probably 3 layers thick, right? And wrap it around in on itself so that any of the sculptures that I have can just lay into the jelly cube wall thing I want to build. I want a cube fence thing using this weave, right? So instead of making a cube out of it, you would just make a wide, long strip. And does that make sense? Here, like, just take, like, if this were 3 layers of jelly cube, you just wrap it around on itself, and then it would conform to the bottom of the sculpture. At least that's how I think about it in my head. I think it'll work. So that's what I want to do for any of these that I finish. Is there a metaphysical shop nearby you can see if a stone would fit, if they would let you? I have no idea. I don't leave my basement. I don't know what's out there in the world. It's like I take my kid to school, I go to the gas station, and the dog food store occasionally, and the grocery store. But there might be. I mean, you know what? I did go to a bead store the other day, and across the street they had another similar kind of store. They might have something there. I don't know. Alright. Dragon scale also does really well. Stood up on the edge. It's very sturdy. There you go. That's perfect. That's 2 different base ideas. Although I have a dragon scale sculpture in my head planned that I want to make. That hopefully will be really cool. And it's one of those not going to be done anytime soon kind of things, but if I can get to a point where, you know, all the stuff in the basement is done and I'm just working on jewelry lines and sculptures, then maybe one day I'll get to it. Come on. I'm glad you mentioned dragon scale. That will Hopefully I will remember that in the future. I need to start kind of categorizing some of the ideas in my head. What's going on, Ethan? No, I haven't finished the Finnegan's Wake flag. I've been caught up doing different projects and then putting a lot of work towards them and then tearing them apart. So, loads of fun. If I can get this cube that I tore apart back together here in the next couple days and get the saddlebag finished, because it's riding season and that I need an oil change and that all needs to be done. Then I'll get back to the Finnegan's Wake flag. It's been, you know, a 20-year process for that flag, so it can wait a little longer. As long as I get it done this year, that's my only goal. It's like, all the stuff down here needs to be done by the end of the year. That's my timeline. You're buying a bike on Friday? Right on. What kind of bike are you getting? There is a Street Glide with a 131 cubic inch motor with a chain conversion, with new shocks. I forget what else they told me they put on that bike. But basically, you could take it to the drag strip and drag race it as is. I don't know if it's been dynatuned, though. It's an FJR. Right on. What is an FJR? Is it a road bike or a... Sorry. What's the nomenclature? Not road bike or enduro. Sport touring bike. There you go. Right on. That'll be fun. I know a couple of riders who ride around the country on those. Like full time. 1,300? Very cool. There's no replacement for displacement. Hence why I'm very interested in the 131 cubic inch engine on the Street Glide at the bike shop I go to. Large displacement means you have power to go fast. Alright, this song seems a little loud. Turn that down a little bit. How's the cube going along? It's in pieces. It's all in pieces. How you doing, Justin? So now we're ripping this all apart and putting it back together. And we're reducing the size of the rings just a little bit to make everything a little bit more snug. So right now it is in repair mode. The new rings I bought did not quite match the color of the old rings I had. And so I want to see something. That's not too bothersome for you guys, is it? So like I have one of these that lays perfectly flat around the edges, and the other one wants to pop up. Let's see here. So I'm just trying to hammer it down flat. That kind of worked. It's like frogging a piece of crochet work to start over. Show off my bracelets. Alright, we've got these two. My skull and crossbones. Got a skull inside Ace of Spades there, and on the other end with a stainless buckle clasp on it, and then this is interwoven 4-in-1 stainless steel, just a bangle, and then I'll take these ones off. I've never made a male glove, but they do sell butcher's gloves at like Walmart and stuff. We got a Byzantine bracelet with some beads on it, a little triquetra, and then a Kinged Viperiberus bracelet I got from Sassy Lass Studio at, what do you call it? It's called Oddities and something. It's a big show that tours around. Do I have carpal tunnel? Yes. Or I should say, it comes and goes very frequently. So I have to watch out for it all of the time. Those are super easy to get, the gloves. Yeah, I have one. It's over on my windowsill. And it's got some holes in it and stuff, but it was my uncle's father's butcher glove. And so I was driving past and stopped by to visit, and then on my way back, he had dug out this old butcher's glove of his father's, and they work. They'll prevent you from getting cut. I think someone told me that butchers use the most chainmail industry-wide. We have them at work. We just aren't mandated to use them, and you prefer not to. You seen the gloves? You refuse to use them and just lop off the tip of your fingers every 6 months? I don't know what to say to that, to be honest. Alright. But yeah, I have seen them. I've never made one. There was a really cool Japanese style glove made by Dr. T back in the Ringlord Forum days, and that was really cool. He made it out of really small rings. It was really articulate. It articulated well. That's the coolest glove I've ever seen someone hand make. He used split rings, which are like key rings. Everything can be fixed with Dermatape or Dermabond and tape. Yeah. All right. Also shark suits. Yeah, the Neptunic shark suits made from welded chainmail. I want a set of. I want a Neptunic shark suit. Let me be clear. They're $7,500. I should just start a GoFundMe. Help me get my shark suit. But no. If you buy stuff from my store, I will eventually get enough money to buy my own shark suit someday. You want to get into smithing? We'll likely have to dip into mail for some stuff. Going to be tedious? Yeah, it definitely can be. Especially when you're ripping apart projects that already have thousands of rings done on them. But hey, who's counting? But yeah, you can make money with chainmail to help you get into your blacksmithing career. How you doing, slow-moving train wreck? That is what I started doing, and I've been doing this for 28 years, and I haven't started a blacksmith career yet. But I read Salamandastron by Brian Jakes, and I wanted to be a badger in a volcano hallucinating off of some herbs I put on the fire. And I would make cool weapons to fight the vermin horde occupying the shores outside the volcano. And so I started making chainmail. Check local SCA events or fairs. They usually have ways to get into smithing. Yeah, there you go. You tried the can tab mail in high school and didn't have the patience to finish. Yep. It's... Okay. So... I started out making a piece of armor. And that took me a really long time. And the end product was really trash. So... if you think you would like to get back into chainmail in some form, I recommend, with a small project, getting a small win. I usually tell people that kits from some of the large chainmail suppliers, like a Byzantine bracelet, are a good place to start. Or in your case, get restarted. Because you'll get the right ring size, and you won't have to, you won't be doing what I did, which is going and ordering a bunch of randomly sized rings and figuring out what the projects for them are later, like I'm doing now. And another good kit is one of the kits from Chainmail Joe. We here at Mailworks TV like to tell people to use the Chainmail Joe kit to get started, because it's got everything you need: tutorials, instructions, bunch of different ring sizes, comes in different colors. It's good stuff. And you can get more colors than what can tabs come in. Though they do come in a lot of colors. So if you're going to make can tab mail, you got to drink a lot of Monster or White Claw or something. Or whatever comes with colorful tabs. Alright. Got a good start here. 3 rings out of 95. Rewoven. We were at 40. I think I was at 40 rings done before I decided to tear everything apart. It's not that big a deal. It's really not, but it does suck. The end result is going to be better. That's all I have to keep telling myself. It's like when my dog chewed up the carpet. I needed that carpet replaced anyway. I didn't want to replace it right now, but it needed to be replaced anyway. See, even this is lying down nice and flat, whereas this one does not want to, and I don't know why. I'll have to see if I can take a closer look. Alright, last couple of rings here. Excuse me. So, these are always the sketchiest. These are the ones I always slip on, just because there's not a lot of area to grip the rings. So I'm going to try not to hurt myself, but no guarantees. The new rings look like they will fit better too. Yeah. The fact that they match in ring size is... Oh, you mean... I see what you're saying. The big rings made of small rings will fit better. Yeah, I think it's going to be much more rigid, which I think is better for this project anyway. Instead of loose like a jelly cube like it was, I think it's good for it to hold its own structure. If it fits. I did reduce the ring size by 1 unit, and so in theory we should still be able to do the jelly cube weave out of it. I think we'll be fine. Alright, that one's in. Alright. So we're making these rings, and we're going to weave them all together like this big cube here. And, yeah. Alright. 3 of 95 done. 92 to go. So, how long did that take? That was 45 minutes. It's not terrible. That's about what I was averaging before. Right, because these are 176 rings, and these new ones are 168, right? An internal core of 48 rings. Or an internal core of 68 rings. No. 84 rings. 84 rings on the inside, 84 rings on the outside. 168 rings total. 8 rings smaller than the ones we had prior, right? What is the big one at now? It's 18,299. It's 15 by 15 by 15. Not offset. Yeah. Something like that. I've got the website pulled up to order 32 more ounces for this. I think it was 26 ounces. And in order to get it to 20 by 20 by 20, it's 44,500 some odd rings, something like that. And so I got 18,000 now. I got to add 26,000 rings. It's no big deal. We'll finish it by the, end of the year. It'll be fine. So that actually is not a project that has to be finished this year. I probably will. It's like next month I have to stop what I'm doing and make some bracelets. I should make a chair like that. Yeah. Several 100,000 rings later. But it does look like a chair, like you could just sit in it and it would be comfortable. I 100% agree, right? Got a friend who's using some rings that are 6-gauge aluminum, and they're huge. He's making a cube as a footrest, and it looks amazing. It really does. But even at that ring size, it would still be thousands for a project. Yeah, like a beanbag chair of mail. It would still be several thousand rings to make a beanbag chair. Leg hairs beware, yeah. For sure. Just like when you go and try and put on a chainmail shirt and you don't have a cap on, or you're not adequately prepared and it rips your beard hair out as you put it on. Loads of fun, that. So, despite the delays, we are moving forward, which is a good thing. If only by knowing what needs to be worked on. Like this giant cube project to get rid of old rings. Could have waited, but pile of old rings need to be turned into something. This is a much better idea than any idea I had when I purchased the rings initially. So I think it's going to be cool. What is your favorite type of project? Like armor, accessories, personal projects? So like my big things are wraps, right? Like one of my first projects was a big 44 ounce beer stein that I wrapped. And then I have a 32 ounce Bubba coffee cup that I wrapped. I wrapped a little Stanley. They're all stainless steel cups. And I have a bunch of bottle wraps that I can grab if you'd like to see them. But that was like my big thing for the longest time. I did an armor piece at first. That was my first project. It took me a super long time to finish it. But decorative wraps were my thing for a long time. I still like them. Like, I've got chainmail wrapped coffee cups now. So now I'm making sculptures. But yeah, some people, they hustle on the business side of chainmail, and they make a lot of stuff not for them. And they're working their tails off, making products for their booths that they're going to go vend at every weekend. And that does not fit my lifestyle, and I don't particularly like making the same thing over and over again, but I'm not opposed to it. Obviously, I've made miles of Byzantine. I think a wrapped wooden traditional style mug would be sick. I think so too. I had someone that I don't know what happened to him, but we were going to do a trade. He was going to send me 2 wooden mugs, and I was going to wrap both of them. One for him and one for me. But that fell through, and I don't remember where he went. So it's like I have 2 pewter beer steins that are wrapped in chainmail, and they're pretty cool. One really big and one, standard size. Pint size. So, but yeah, if I get the chance to wrap a cool wooden stein that you get from the Renaissance Festival or something, I totally would. You be right back? All right. The problem with adding chainmail to pewter mugs or stainless steel coffee cups is that they become very heavy. Especially if you add a lot of chainmail, like I did. It's like my Bubba coffee cup that's wrapped in interwoven interwoven Byzantine hexagons. Like, it's already a 32 ounce coffee mug, and now it's got a couple pounds of chainmail added to it. It's a bit ridiculous. Well, wrap the new 24-pound mug. Is that what you're talking about? Like it's a giant stainless steel coffee mug. If I get my hands on one, I'll wrap one. That'd be dope. I don't know how I would do it. I would have to have it here to look at, because I think the sidewalls are straight up and down, where the coffee cups that I found that work the best are kind of round, right? Or ones that are narrow at the top and widen as they go to the bottom. Those seem to be the easiest ones to wrap. But yeah, that was my thing. I mean, it's still my thing. I still like doing it. I've got all these other projects to finish, and my personal goal now is to have a gallery exhibit of my chainmail sculptures. And this is going to be one of them. So, if I don't mar up all the rings. That's the one thing about this spring steel. Right? Is that those pliers just slipped? There's not a mark on here. No, this is all stainless steel. How you doing, Craig? I wish this was silver. That'd be awesome. I have some silver somewhere. Yeah, you don't want it sliding off. You want an example? I can grab an example of a wrap for you. It'll just take 2 seconds. All right. I think my silver's over there actually. I have old M&M container that you get with, like, it's an M&M tin. So it had M&M candies in it, and that I got for Christmas time. All right, hang on. Yeah, it's right there. All right. So this is one of the bottle wraps that I did. Trying to think. This was like Arrogant Bastard bottle, I think it was. Okay. And I have a bunch of those. I have some with like really, really small rings. And this is my Bubba coffee cup. You can see the Byzantine hexagons being woven in between each other. And this is, you know, you could just crush a man's skull with this. Yeah, that's, you know, what I've had fun making for a long time. So I have a couple bottles that are kind of repeats of each other. Especially, not this one, but bottles like this, right? They're mostly wine bottles. I want to take a bunch of them and turn them into like tiki torches and put them up on cool mounts all around my deck. Once I finish that, one day. So I need to make a few more, but most of them are relatively unique. Can't make the same thing over and over again all the time. So I think wraps are like, that's what, when I started getting good at making chainmail, and not that I'm great or anything special, there are plenty of people who are better than me, who know more about chainmail than me. I am but a humble weaver of the divine ring. It's just something I happened to, like, I wanted a chainmail wrapped coffee cup, and I made a couple different versions of one, and then wrapped a whole bunch of different stuff. And it was fun. And it's kind of cool. People come down to the basement and they try on a chainmail shirt. They look at all the little chainmail things I've made and slowly adding more to it. You get deep enough into the smithing stuff, you have plans to make stuff for the house for character. Yeah, there you go. I want to replace my railing with a hand smithed stairway railing. I've got a wood one right now. And, I mean, it's okay. It's nice looking. But me with no blacksmith experience thinks that I can build a whole stair railing that's really cool and install it myself with no knowledge of what I'm doing at all. And I've got ideas in my head for what I want to do with that. That's what you want to do? Yeah. You know, just take your property and add really cool, unique stuff to it. Like custom knobs for all your cabinets. And I actually want to throw away my entire kitchen. I don't like it. Any part of it. So I don't like the cabinets. I don't like the trim. I don't like the cabinet knobs. I don't like the sink. I don't like the countertop. Hardest part would probably be getting it square for fitting. Yeah, but it's metal, so you just, you know, be careful with the torch inside your house so you don't burn it down, and hit it carefully. Yeah, I've got Centaur Forge out in Burlington, an hour from here, and they have a bunch of smithing supplies. Coal forges and blowers and leg vices and hammers and coal and tons of horseshoes to practice with. They are, first and foremost, like a farrier supply store. And then just north of me, I've got Milwaukee Blacksmith, who does classes on how to make stuff. And my kid's going to be 10 soon. So he and I might go up there this summer. We'll see. We just spent a bunch of money to put him in a summer camp for game design. It was like VR game design, Roblox game design, or BattleBot design. And I was, you know, like, hey, you should do the BattleBot design. But he picked the VR headset one. So, whatever. It's his week to go pick out something to do. But also, we have Milwaukee Blacksmith nearby, and he saw like 2 episodes of Forged in Fire and hasn't stopped talking about wanting to be a blacksmith since then. And that was probably 3 years ago. So, it's like, Dad, when I'm older, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and I'm going to make knives and sell them, and I'm going to become YouTube famous. Is basically the gist of what he tells me. You'd love to redo most of your house? There are, like, most of my house... Okay, let's see here. I was going to say most of my house is fine, but that's not true. The main floor is kind of okay. I like the layout of that. But in the basement, my furnace and water heater are in the middle of the basement, and it takes up a ton of room. I would love to move those over to the side. And my dryer is in the middle, and it's 36 feet from the back of my dryer to the outside of the house. So I'd love to have a dryer that was closer to an outside wall. Like, the dryer needs to be where I'm sitting right now, because right there is the outside of the house, right? And then upstairs, the rooms are too small. They really are. But it's just 3 of us, so it doesn't really matter. And then the kitchen. The kitchen. It's dated and needs some TLC. Nothing's gonna happen for a while we got a corgi puppy that is destructive in puppy stage. So maybe when he's grown a little bit more, I don't even plan on replacing the carpet that he chewed up for another year or 2, which sucks, but it is what it is. It's like I'm not going to install new stuff just to have the turd dog tear it up. But he'll get better. We had adventures in potty training tonight with him. So for some reason he wants to use the inside of my house as a bathroom, and I don't like that, so he got sent to his kennel. But yeah, I mean, most of the rest of the house is just like, if I never changed anything, it's fine. It's just a preference for, since I've lived here for almost a decade now, how I would like things to be. But it's like I've got a finished basement with a bar. I should add a kegerator to the bar and get like their wine fridges. I have 2 wine fridges down at the bar. Nobody really drinks wine here. I don't really drink much, but you know, on the weekends, like to have a brew with the neighbors. Doesn't feel like it fits you quite right, yeah. It's like there's we've been live for an hour. We got to match the puzzle piece. There we go. There's a place for a TV down here, and I got a couch, and all my work stuff is down here. It's comfortable to live in. I do need a new couch for the upstairs. My enormous child destroyed the couch that we have, and it's part of it. You sink into the back of the couch, so we do need a new couch for the living room. But other than that, it's fine. Master bedroom's huge. Master bath is huge. They're nice. Wouldn't really change anything about them. So, like, I can complain about little stuff, but that's all it is. All I really want, and this is just because it's spring, and I don't like doing it. All I really want is someone to come and mow my lawn so that I don't have to. You feel like that's a common trait in craftsmen and tradesmen, what we like to customize our space? Yeah. 100%. It's like we have a bunch of artwork, right? And none of it, almost none of it. We have some pictures hung up upstairs. Almost none of the artwork is hung up. But we probably have 15 pieces that we could put up throughout the house. But all of my artwork down here in the basement, all that's hung up because I'm down here all the time. I'm like, oh, I'll just, I got 3 Frank Frazetta lithographics. I got a Zelda poster, a Boondock Saints poster, a picture my mom painted that I got after she passed away, and then a bunch of little paintings I've collected from people. And it's like, the space was definitely taken over by me. So, and I'll hang the rest of the art in the house the instant my wife tells me where it goes. It's like, I've got the basement. I've got domain in the basement. How it's laid out, my decision. Everything else upstairs, I'm not responsible for. I should just start pulling out some of our paintings and stuff and start hanging them in just wherever. See what she says. Probably won't go over well, but whatever. God. I've got... You can respect that stance, yeah. That's like, I don't have any preference for how anything else in the house goes. I didn't pick out the furniture. I didn't pick out the color of the rooms. I just, So if you need something moved, or I don't paint, right? We painted our last house like over the course of a month. Every weekend, moving from the apartment to the house, we painted the house, and that was something I'm unwilling to subject myself to ever again, is painting a house. So I don't paint, but I will do everything else to decorate a room. All right, we got 2 of these wrapped up. That's pretty good. And I have tried, I have tried doing touch-up paint from the previous owner and some of the damage that we've done ourselves here. Like there was some spillage in one of the upstairs bathrooms and water leaked down into the kitchen. And so there's a spot of water damage on the ceiling. And there were about 50 different shades of white in the basement here. And we went through all of them trying to match the paint. And none of it worked. We took paint samples to Menards, to Lowe's, to Home Depot. Jesus loves you too. Yeah, your in-laws painting this house and you'd have to redo it if you were going to renovate? Yeah. What was I saying? The blue paint that matches the wall here in the basement. What do you call it? The swatch, the color match thing that you get with the brand of paint and the color number on it and everything. Right? Took that to the hardware store and had them match it, and none of it matched. None of it ever matched. And I probably did that like in 4 different areas in this house and trying to get paint to match and nothing. So like I'm not a fan of paint as a wall covering to begin with. I want some other kind of textured thing. I don't know. I don't know what the options are. All I know is that I don't want to paint, and I'm not going to if I don't have to. Nope. Oh, I can hear the pitter-patter of little terrorist corgi puppy feet upstairs. So, am I doing this right? I can't tell. One wall in your living room is fake wood flooring panels. There you go. Like, I don't mind wood panels as long as it doesn't look like the 1980s mobile home wood panel that I lived in growing up. I would object to that. But there's a bunch of other, wood paneling style out there now that I'm perfectly okay with. It's like my stepdad did his house up with like fake beams. Hey, Steampunk Cat, how you doing? My stepdad did his house up with fake beams on every corner, fake beams in the roof, and he made it look really good. And then he did wood paneling along the walls and everything, and like I'd be okay with that. Steampunk Cat, my one of my webcams is not working tonight, so that's why you can't see my pretty face. Good? Finally not sick, so you're feeling good? Right on, right on. It's good to hear. It's like I opened up my Streamlabs and it wasn't working, so just FYI. And I had already gone live. That was the issue. Had I noticed it before I had gone live, I would have just restarted the program. But do I mean thin strip panels? No, I think they were like 6 inches wide. But they were like, he went to... You'll just imagine my face being there. Imagine someone good looking and handsome. Like, he went to the wood aisle at Home Depot and picked up a couple of like 6 inch wide 6x1s. Right? And put that up as his wall. And I mean, he made it look good. He made all the doors for their house and everything. Are you going to make claim nail with your chainmail chain, then a chain with your chainmail? How much chainmail could a chainmail if a chainmail could chainmail? Alright. I love weaving the inside of these rings because you got to start upside down and backwards. Hey Ron, thank you for the heart. Appreciate you. Strophium, how are you doing tonight? Quite the poet. Then a chainmail, chain with your chainmail. Yeah, at least one chainmail. Yes. So we are taking strips of chainmail chain and weaving them into bigger chainmail chains. That is exactly what we're doing. Am I redoing the jelly cube? Yes. So the cube I had was too loose at the end, really, and the old rings that I had did not match the new rings that I have over here. And it was a very slight difference, and no matter how much like I've got a pile of old rings here, no matter how much I polish this is never going to match the new, shinier, more polished rings that I ordered. So we're using the old rings as the core full Persian chains, and then we're adding the spring steel rings on the outside, and then reweaving them all together. It's recursive chainmail? Yeah. Exactly. An infinitely reductive fractal universe where we're all chainmail. Those are Not words in my lexicon. Can't see. Can't close the ring if I can't see. Have you seen those floating island planters where they weld the chain in a slack position for effect? I have not. Like the floating island where the take a bunch of styrofoam and or they take a bunch of concrete and fill it with styrofoam and then they put a bunch of dirt on top of it. Those floating islands. Those are the only ones I can think of. Toroidal immersion. Oh, you guys are much smarter than I am. Am I done? Okay. Yeah, there's I don't know. There's no reason to be doing things this way, but I was having so much fun doing this, and I'm like, oh, I can make some pretty cool stuff with this. So now, you stared into the void, and I'm a vessel for chainmail Cthulhu. I'm merely a conduit of his power. I wish, you know, I could just think about it and the rings would just assemble themselves. That would be excellent. I suppose I wouldn't have the satisfaction of having done it myself, but trying to put the rings in the pattern I want them to go into is very time consuming. But I don't have anything else to do for the next 40 years, so hopefully I get some of this stuff done. For real though, it's neat. Well, thank you. You got your pinky finger finished on your gauntlet? Debating on adding extensions for your sausage fingers? Right on. Yes, I am retired. I do this now. And so I weave and stream, and sometimes I make cool stuff, and sometimes, even better, I meet new people who like the concept of being able to make chainmail in their home, and I point them in the right direction on how to get started. And that's really the overhanded goal of why I stream. The underhanded goal is that I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories at my website, myusername.com. And, you know, like, yes, my goal is to sell stuff. Or part of my goal is to sell stuff. But the bulk of my goal is to just introduce people to chainmail. Someone guided me along when I was a young dumbass. And, you know, just passing that along to someone else now. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Yeah. Should have seen this a couple days ago before I tore it apart. It was looking really cool. A little too loose, but much more of this concept was completed. And then I realized the ring colors didn't match, and the large rings I had made were the wrong size. So I tore it all apart. Now I'm putting it back together. And hopefully in a day or two, I will have it back to its former glory. Hey, Louie, you back? You're one of his metallic toroid pupils. There you go. Yeah, like 99% of the time, it's just like showing someone that, hey, you can make this at home, right? And people go, holy crap, I want to make this my whole personality. Which is what I do. This is all I do. I'm not cool or anything. I just make chainmail. Trying to figure out how to get But out of this power armor. Uh-oh. Alright. Now, these squirrely outside rings. These are the ones that I tend to slip on. Hold X. There you go. Oh, he is... Yeah, Louis, are you playing... what were you playing? Louis was playing a video game the other night. Fallout 4? I'm thinking you're saying power armor is something like you actively are wearing. But no, you're talking about a video game. Come on. Come on! Damn you. Damn you all to heck. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that. Holding X isn't working? Oh no. On Xbox? Yeah, I have no idea. I have no reference point for Fallout. Just, you know, I see people popping up in cosplay doing it. That's all I've got. I'm told it's a good game, but I'm not very good at video games, and so I don't play many. Last one I played was simply Tears of the Kingdom, which I had a lot of fun with, but again, yeah, I bent the crap out of this ring. There we go. Let's see if we can close it now. Just kill the battery on the suit. There's always a solution, right? There we go. That looks much better. Fallout 4 is a great story game. Holding a button worked. Are you exclaiming that, or is that a question? I'm very confused. Your abundance of punctuation renders me confused. One more. Well, that ring's gone. You'd use a lot more punctuation if there wasn't a limit. There you go. And expletives and yeah. No, I get you. Okay. That's killer. That kills my hands. That's okay. Got 4 done. Whoo, buddy. You know what this cube is great for? Just like therapeutic. Just doing this feels great. especially after crushing these rings. See now, okay, if we take a look here, we can see that the rings kind of point in certain directions. They kind of, like this arcs around this way, right? Like this one, the rings kind of lay down this way, and vice versa. This one goes the opposite direction. So I was trying to figure out on a point where they are all, they're doing this like back and forth in order to do the cube weave. Like, is there a way to make them point all the same direction, right? Like, is that would be one of those things where it's like, anyone who plays 4, when do you meet Fisto, the robot? I don't know. Working in 16 SWG makes 18 SWG light work. Yeah, it does. Okay. So, like, I should pay attention to this. Do these all go the same way? No, these go the opposite direction. I should change these. But not really, because this is going to go like that. Right? Okay. And those don't go the same way either. Those, I'm already opposite in everything I've done so far. So I would have to undo this. But, like, really what I should do, okay, it's kind of like if you ever worked in carpentry and you're making a box, you want the outside grain of the box to all flow in one direction. And this is not like something I've ever managed to accomplish. This is just something I've heard carpenters talk about, right? They want the wood grain to all flow in the same direction. So I'm wondering if it's possible to make it so that, depending on their orientation, all the rings are rotating the same way, right? Like, that is something like, if you were going to build a giant chainmail sculpture for sale, that is something you should pay attention to, right? Are we all in agreement? Great, thanks. Glad you all agree with me. No, it's just one of those things that it's like, it's that extra attention to detail. Or am I just imagining things and an insane person? You're bringing up the hairy ball theorem and you're all for it. What is the hairy ball theorem? If you have a hairy ball, you got to try to make it so that all the hair flows the same direction, but it's impossible to orient them all the same way. Is that the hairy ball theorem? Learn something new every day. Like, okay, if the textured rings made from smaller rings were just colorful rings, multicolored rings, right? Like, each ring was a different color: red, blue, black, white, right? Hey, Kate, how you doing? You know, you might have some insight on this question. There will always be one node on a herringbone brush to flow one way. Yeah, okay. So if the... Now that Kate's here, I'm all... What was I saying? I was saying something. Okay. So if instead of being textured, these rings had color, right? Then you would want all the colors to be oriented one direction in order to make a pattern, right? So, and that's kind of similar to how you would want all the wood grain to flow the same way around the outside of a box you've carpentried. Is that what they do? Carpenters? They commit carpentry? So I don't know. I think that is a thing, an attention to detail thing that I should pay attention to moving forward, because that is just. I think your best bet would be to have them all point to one corner. Okay. But then, how do they point? The question is, right? So these rings have kind of a direction that they flow, right? Like when you look at them, the eye kind of follows it around in a certain manner. And so as I've hooked these initial 4 together, they're opposing each other, right? And so the question is, should I make them all flow the same way? Right? And I think the answer is yes. I think it's an attention to detail thing that I should do moving forward. I don't, if I don't fix this will be on the inside of the cube anyway. So it won't be the end of the world. But I don't know. I think it's one of those things that you see it, and if someone who's really looking for like attention to detail in a piece, that would be something that they looked for. Fun fact, toruses, aka rings, don't have the problem a sphere does with the one node. Oh really? I did not know that. Mechi, okay. But when you make it into a cube, won't the orientation change? That, yeah, so trying to keep track of all of that is going to be difficult. You've recently started dabbling with chainmail. Right on. It's super fun. What are you making? Once we get the inside core of the cube done, like no one's really going to see it, but you still want to do quality work anyway, regardless. And so, but expanding outward, if all the rings are oriented a certain direction where you're looking at them and it just flows, as opposed to you're looking at a pattern and then all of a sudden the pattern shifts on you. I don't know. I don't know how to art. Mostly hacky sacks, right on. I've made a few of those. They're fun. I have plans to make a lot more one day in the future. One day. But right now, I have to rebuild this cube I made. You try to put them all the same way, but if you were to have to twist it to make the cube... No, I shouldn't have to twist it to make the cube. I should be able to orient them all the same way. I just have to pay attention to it, right? Like all of the rings that are like this can all be oriented the same way, and then all the rings that are horizontal can all be oriented the same way, right? And then all the rings going this way, same thing, right? I think I can do that. But yeah, but each of those rows is going to face a certain direction. And so I should make them all go the same way down those rows, as opposed to having a row of rings where the flow of the way the rings lay is opposing each other. Does that make sense? Yeah, like clockwise or counterclockwise. Like if this row is all going clockwise and this row is all going clockwise, right? Like that is not going to disrupt how your eyes are looking at it, I think. Think you understand? You thought it was going to turn on itself to make the cube? Yeah. I gotcha. It's so fun. Want to learn more and get better right now. It's something you do while watching TV. I like doing it while watching TV. I need to get a TV to put down here. I mostly just listen to music and chill. What's whoa? The cube? This cube? It's gonna get bigger. I've got my what do you call it? I've got my cart filled. I just need my tax return. You can't watch anime while mailing? Gotta pay attention to the subs, yeah. Let's see, what was my anime experience? A question came up about anime. My son wanted to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender with me. And it was something else. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was something we discussed last night. What is the pattern you're working on right now? Or am I making another... Yeah, so this weave is called Sandwyrm, and what it is a strip of full Persian with units of box around the outside, right? And I'm taking this and I'm weaving them into rings, and then taking these rings and I will be weaving them into a cube. It's just a 3x3 cube, but I've got 12,000 rings over here to finish it, and I started, I don't know how many rings I had. I think I had 6,000 already done before I ripped it all apart and redid it. So we're making a large chainmail sculpture that will be for sale at some point, if I ever finish. I have to get from start to end without tearing it apart. That's the challenge right now, because I have to make 95. I have to make 95 of these big rings, and I had like 40 done. Kobe's Collections, how you doing? Do I make my own rings? Not yet. You have yet to try full Persian? You should. It's fun. I think there's a good CG Mail tutorial of full Persian on Mail Artisans International League website. So, because of the scope of some of the large sculptures I will be making in the future, I will once again begin making my own rings. Saw cut so that they can be welded, but they have to be at least on par with what I can order from current chainmail suppliers right now. Right? Whereas the rings I made before, when I first got started 28 years ago, they were garbage. And it's, I don't know, I've learned a lot since then, so I think I can make some decent quality rings. But just because, like, this, I mean, the cost wasn't prohibitive, right? I probably have $300 to $400 into this one sculpture, and several hours right now, both building it initially and then tearing it back down. But, right, if I make multiple sculptures, it would eventually become, cost prohibitive. You have to get out to the shop tomorrow and cut coils? Right on. Want to be like you when I grow up. 4. Is Kate still in here? I don't know. I don't know if Kate's still watching, but if you guys like VW Beetles, you should go check out Kate Culp's work and her husband. They run Metamorphosis down in Alabama, and they make custom Volkswagen competition vehicles that are amazing, and Kate is an inspiration for with all of her upholstery work, and you should follow her. And also, you should follow Copious Collections. Sarah makes wonderful stuff and makes all her own rings. Quality chainmail artist. So give her a follow too, if you would. If you like what I do. Eric Hansen. How you doing? Cool that you make that. Neat. Thank you. You're too awesome. I was so upset that I did not get the opportunity to come down to Chicago to see you. I'll never forgive myself. And I can only hope that you are made to suffer and travel along with your vehicles for competitions one more time, so that I have another opportunity to come see your work and meet you. Blade Doe, how you doing? Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. All right. So, it's like these spring steel rings. I've mentioned it several times tonight, but once you get to the fourth ring, trying to close that up, that is the sketchiest one, and I've slipped several times tonight. This is going to be a massive sculpture. You're looking forward to seeing it finished. I'm looking forward to seeing it finished too. I hope that I don't tear it down again. Our goal is from start to finish without making changes to it. So, but I think the changes I made are going to be for the better. So, like sometimes you got to rip it all apart and put it back together because it's just going to be better that way. And it should only weigh 22 pounds when it's done, and stand like 11 inches by 11. So actually, now that the rings are a little bit more rigid, it might stand up taller. We'll see. Kate, thanks for stopping by. Wonderful to see you. Love your work. Tell your husband he's awesome too. Rodney does like amazing body work and paint, and Kate does all this awesome upholstery of all their vehicles, and they come up with this super dope cars. I love them. How many times have people told you things are off the chain? No, Silver Wings, no one has ever said things are off the chain in chat. You are the first. That is hilarious. Okay, this is the one where I slip and accidentally send myself to the next realm. You got toggles for your bracelet and you like them better than the lobsters? There you go. Toggle clasp. There is a never-ending desire for like just the perfect clasp when it comes to chainmail. And as time has progressed, we've moved away from like the cheap Hobby Lobby Michaels lobster clasps for every bracelet and necklace and piece of jewelry that they make. And there are chainmail artists who have like their own manufactured clasps now. Like Josh Diliberto has some. I think Whitney Mail has some. And Jen from Steampunk Garage has some. Right? And, I mean, as with everything in the chainmail industry, it largely just keeps getting better and better and more. As more attention is paid to people making chainmail nowadays, like, the more solutions people come up with or provide. On today's episode of Lord of the Rings. Yep. We on today's episode we struggle to close these rings because they're spring steel and they're perfect for the job, but this is sketchy. Alright. It's like these will hold everything in place nice and tightly. It'd be difficult for any damage to befall this. Not impossible, but these are like really strong rings. So, like, it's a fortunate turn of events. You know, the Ring Lord just happened to have the right ring size I need in a material that is going to hold this giant piece together. You were wondering how garnet water cutters would be for making jump rings? I don't know. You bought class from Michael's on Sunday. They were cheap and you're still learning. Hey, you know what? Everybody starts somewhere. Okay? Everybody starts somewhere. For lobster clasps, there's a bunch of people like Panda Hall, Rio Grande, the Ring Lord even carries some. And they have stainless steel lobster clasps. Just the same as the regular ones. But you're not changing these out every couple of weeks, right? And I'm not saying don't use them. Use them. You paid for them. Whatever. But you're going to replace them if you wear your jewelry often enough. And that's... Is it Emeki or Emechi or however you pronounce your name? You know, if you're just learning, you're learning. Don't even sweat it. I am one of the things that I love helping people with is avoiding the mistakes that I've done. Okay, so you hang out here, and you know if you got a question about something, I'm more than willing to give you my thoughts on whatever you've got going on if I can help, because I have made epic tons of mistakes in the 28 years I've been doing this. So anything I can do to help people avoid my struggle, I will do what I can. You about to get a jump ring from Rio Grande? You thought it was an ounce? Nope. $9 for one jump ring. I hear my angry chihuahua upstairs barking like he's going to do something about anything ever. Just mech? Okay. Oh. I gotcha. Okay. Alright, mech. Alright. Yes. There is, I don't know everything there is to know about chainmail. And my advice, is probably not the best in some situations, but I do know some stuff, and I'm more than willing to share it with anyone who happens to stumble across this page. And you preached a question, already learning a lot. There you go. I try very much not to gatekeep any piece of information I have about chainmail, because the group of people who make chainmail that I have run into have not gatekeeped stuff to me. Does that make sense? $9 for a jump ring? What was it made of? Gold. That's super cool, man. Very nice to meet you. You're very welcome. Why'd I say you're very welcome? I meant to say thank you. It's nice to meet you too. Enjoy your meal. You too. Oh. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Cassandra, how are you doing tonight? $9 for an Argentium silver ring. Grow the hobby. Yes, grow the hobby. And it's, look, it's not altruistic. It's not altruistic, okay? I have very underhanded reasons for wanting to grow the hobby. It's because I design and sell chainmail themed apparel on my website, and I want people to make chainmail for it to become their most fantastic thing, and then for them to buy everything in my store. That's, you know, you're thankful regardless. I know words, but not the right ones. But yeah, like, just try to be transparent with what I know and help out where I can. And, you know, just the last 2 days, I've had 2 other chainmail artists that are a couple years into the hobby. They reached out to me and were asking me questions just, you know, 2 days ago. It's like, I'm more than willing to help out if I've got time. Just started learning chainmail, and it's seriously so cool, doing well. I'm doing good. The rings will only get better the more people on the craft. Yes. And that's one of the things, too, is the number of people making chainmail keeps growing, and you keep seeing these amazing pieces come out of the collective group of chainmail, and everybody inspires other people, and, well, not everyone, but, you know, there are those in every group where, you know, they're difficult to get along with, or they don't, what's the word I'm looking for, like, I don't want to call them names, but they're not helpful, right? And there are those in every group. And sometimes people's egos are difficult to be in the same group as them with, but you always ask, what's your all-time favorite weave? You always ask that to who? People that are problematic? Or people that are being a pain? I mean, it's a group on the internet. You're going to have characters. So I just try not to be gatekeepy, and, you know, everything that I know is, like, I will share that with anyone just because. Just because, like, the group that I grew up with on the internet was helpful to me. My all-time favorite weave is Interwoven 4-in-1. It is a weave created back in the Ringlord Forum days by Dr. T, and it's a very versatile weave, similar to elf weave, and see, I'm trying to think. I've got, if I can do this without knocking my phone over, we'll do it. Let's see here. I've got an example here, but it's holding up my, that's, no, wait, what is this? Oh, this is strips of GSG connected with Interwoven 4-in-1. That's what this is. That's my guitar band, or my guitar strap that I need to redo the leather on. Okay, don't fall. Don't fall. What's a... Oh, you know what? I've got a better example over here. There we go. This is straightforward Interwoven 4-in-1. My favorite weave. Backside is the same as the reverse, or the opposite way of the reverse. For anyone, it's kind of like elf weave. It's loads of fun. Okay. Alrighty. We didn't get quite as far as I'd hoped, but what did we get done? 2.5 rings? We had 2, now we have 4. So, what are the important concepts we went over tonight? What did we learn? Everybody, get your pens and pencils out. Take notes. Okay, so moving forward, we're going to make these rings, and I'm going to try and orient them in the same direction. Right? All the vertical ones will be going, like, they'll all be clockwise, right? All the horizontal ones will all be clockwise. And so on and so forth throughout the cube. These first couple I'm not going to fix. I'm going to... What is it Buddhism where it's the practice to leave one mistake in your work because... Or is it Hinduism? One of the Eastern religions, it's practice to leave a mistake in your work because only the gods can make stuff perfect, right? So, I'm not either or any of those. I'm not of any of those beliefs, but I'll leave this mistake in here, and moving forward, I will try to make sure that all the rings are oriented correctly. I think that's an excellent attention to detail thing that maybe I don't know how else you would express it in chainmail. Does that make sense? Right? Like you line up all the colors on the same line or in the same pattern, right? This is a texture, so we got to make all the textures face the right way so that the eyes follow it the right way. Do you like make... No, I don't make my own rings yet. Excuse me. I will... If everything goes correctly, I will have my own coiling and cutting setup ready to go by the end of the year because I have to cut down on costs on some of the larger pieces I want to make. Thank you. You love the guitar strap. Thank you. I like it too. I got to redo the leather so that the leather is long enough so that the strap can hang off the guitar without touching it because it's a wood guitar. So you're back in, but right back at 10. Yeah, right back at 10 o'clock. Sorry, buddy. All right. For anyone watching, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. I'll give you an example. This is a little puppy hoodie. It's not up on the website, but it's chainmail print, right? And it's a beta project or beta product. The bottom doesn't match the rest of it, so I got to fix that before it goes on the website, right? It's awesome, like it is. Looks more robust. What is? I'm confused. Well, whatever was awesome like it is. Thank you, Dustin. So, I don't have this exact product up there, but I have stuff like this for humans. Hooded blankets, hoodies, big, giant, snug hoodies. Got a video coming out soon. A box opening of one of our giant, snug hoodies. They're super comfortable. So, check out mailworks.com. Buying stuff from there helps me fund products like this. And it will help me in the future afford things like an anodizer, coiling, cutting setup, rings for various projects if I'm not able to make them myself, and, you know, the leather supplies that I need, all that stuff. So buy stuff from my website. Helps me fund projects to keep me entertained with, or keep me entertaining you with various chainmail projects. The chain looks good as it is. I got you, Dustin. Thanks. For anyone who is just getting started in chainmail, who saw this stream and is like, that's cool, I want to make that my whole new personality now. In the link tree in my bio is a link to the mail